Meet Otto Hoffer, an innovative jewelry stone designer and trendsetter in his earlier days. Born in Gobelins in 1908, he first visited the United States in 1925 to become more familiar with a company known as H. Nordlinger & Sons, founded in 1899. His father was its European buyer and later became part owner of the company. Today, it is known as E.H. Ashley & Company of East Providence, Rhode Island. Even as a young man, Hoffer had great interest in the technical manufacturing of jewelry stones and was predestined to be involved in the jewelry business. In 1934, a memorable and fateful meeting with Daniel Swarovski.
I knew I was talking to somebody very important. And found that it was just very pleasant to be with him.
It was the beginning of a relationship between two families that remains strong and special today. 65 years after Otto Hoffer and Swarovski founder Daniel Swarovski first shook hands.
He clearly had a very inventive mind because he had done all kinds of innovations on things that came along in his young activities. After 1934, we were customers of theirs, and most heavy activity was in fancies.
Hoffer had great respect for Swarovski. He admired Daniel's high standards and great vision. Long before Otto's introduction to the business, young Daniel was starting his company in the Tyrolean Alps. He and his family settled in Wartime, Austria, where he built a machine for cutting and polishing lead crystal to previously unattained quality and precision. It was a pioneering invention that made it possible to produce innovative new designs for the world of cut glass and fashion jewelry. Wartime was the perfect location for his company. Water power was crucial to the operation of his machines, and Wartime had plenty of it. By 1900, business was thriving. He had 100 employees and was genuinely concerned about their working conditions and quality of life.
He was very much involved with the standards and the conditions of which the employees had to exist. He must have been very active in the direction of providing the best possible conditions for the people who worked there.
In 1911, Daniel and his three sons used new production processes to refine crystal to a state of perfect brilliance. The new crystal contained different ingredients, which gave the stone a spectacular color brilliance. The outbreak of World War I brought the manufacture of crystal jewelry stones to a standstill. Most workers went off to war, and Daniel was forced to produce grinding equipment. The war eventually ended, but not Daniel's entrepreneurial spirit. He applied his creative genius to produce high-quality grinding tools. These grinding wheels, essential for the cutting of jewelry stones, attracted worldwide interest. Today, under the brand name Tyrolit, 80% of its grinding wheels and abrasive products are exported to more than 80 countries. During the 20s and 30s, Daniel and his son Wilhelm produced glass reflectors and optical instruments. The outbreak of World War II created greater challenges and adversity for Swarovski, Hoffer, and the jewelry industry.
The Atlantic was pretty well blocked by the British fleet, but the Pacific for a while was not so well guarded, and they arranged to have shipments by railroad to Vladivostok, and from there by boat to the west coast of the United States. And for a while that worked, but soon the British got efficient enough to interrupt that.
Otto moved to the United States and inherited his father's share of the company in the late 30s. By then, he had learned all facets of the business. Meanwhile, in Austria, Daniel passed his knowledge and high standards on to his three sons. He reminded them to be compassionate and fair to the citizens of their village. He died in 1956, but left behind a legacy that greatly influenced the town of Wattens.
What I find the most fascinating is that it all seemed to be done with, without having the profit as the main objective. Particularly, I think I found this with Daniel, but I think the later generations still had it. Certainly the three sons had it very strongly, and I think the younger ones still, at least, of course there are so many of them now, share it some. The fact is that the first thing is to produce, to do something that is good and beautiful. And that is all that they wanted.
The patriarch of the Swarovski family may have been gone, but Hoffer maintained close relationships with Daniel's three sons and grandsons. Otto's fond memories of his time spent with grandson Daniel included skiing in Gerlos and Davos, where they sometimes celebrated birthdays together.
I know that we talked about his religious affiliations. He was, I think, the bishop of a community which called itself the Gralsendung, and that apparently was quite central to his feelings.
Hoffer always appreciated the way he and his family were treated by the Swarovskis. They were successful together in business and enjoyed each other's company at numerous social outings.
One thing that I thought was particularly precious about Swarovski was the fact that there were so many interpersonal relationships which were intensive and cooperative and very friendly. This went, of course, to the bosses, from the bosses down, but people like Manfred's father, Edi Schweiger, his brother Pep Schweiger, and there were so many with whom we had to deal because certainly they were in charge of our concerns, and they were just all top-notch.
And in October of 1984, Daniel Swarovski and family surprised Otto and his wife Elsa with a fabulous 50th wedding anniversary party in Austria. Of course, Swarovski, with many important clients like E.H. Ashley, has become a worldwide leader in jewelry, crystal, and precision optical instruments. It has set international standards for bringing crystal stones in many shapes and colors to the fashion centers of the world. Daniel's vision lives on. The innovations continue.
There doesn't seem to be just any limit to what they are willing to undertake and what they can accomplish. Certainly making an improvement on the Chaton after which really is making history, since the Chaton has been the standard thing for unmeasured time almost. To put 12 facets on it, which does improve the brilliance. And I think that's generally been welcomed greatly. I know we have customers who will not buy anything but the 12 facet Chaton.
And that is the way it has been since that fateful meeting between Hoffer and Swarovski in 1934. E.H. Ashley celebrated its 100th year in business in July of 1999, but with mixed emotions.